our services and plans. Because of browsing through the web, websites can get your information if not secured. However, Bitdefender helps prevent that from happening. This software carries the best protection and performance compared to other free antivirus softwares. For our customers' phone plan, we chose Sprint 4 lines for $180 a month. They get unlimited 4G LTE, hotspot with Hulu and music streaming. For our internet plan, we chose AT&T Fiber. You get, for $60 a month, it should cover the whole house and send out 100 megabytes per second. For antivirus for the phones, we got Lookout Premium Plus. It came free with the Sprint plan. It only allows you to connect to a secure Wi-Fi connection, has safe browsing to prevent websites from getting your identity, and also it allows you to remote wipe your phone.
As for a living room, we chose an AT&T modem, which comes with a $10 a month and compatible with the AT&T Wi-Fi plan. And it comes with a coverage for any issues where AT&T can come and fix what's wrong with your modem. For our smart home hub, we chose the Samsung Smart Things, and priced at around $60 and compatible with multiple devices and with an easy setup with Wi-Fi and Ethernet compatibility. We chose our Nest thermostat, priced at $245, compatible with Google and Alexa, adjusts to your behaviors, and knows when to go on in and out of eco mode. For our security cameras, we chose our first trend security cameras, priced at $400 with 8 cameras and 2 GB memory. And it's Wi-Fi compatible and can allow phone connectability and monitoring and can be used as an indoor or outdoor camera.
So the first item for the office, we chose the Amazon Echo. We chose 4 of these to place around the house, so you can control anything with your voice anywhere you are in the house. We chose this product mainly because of its universal compatibility with almost all smart home devices. It does have a mute button in case you don't want Alexa listening to a conversation. Our next item we chose was an Acer monitor. It's a multi-use monitor that comes in at around $155. We chose this monitor because it can be used for gaming for the kids and for work for the adults. It has 75 hertz of refresh rate. The third item we chose was the Intel Centaur desktop. It came in around $1,000. It's a powerful PC that the adults can use for daily work activities and the kids can use to game. Since they are young, parental controls will be needed so they don't download any unwanted apps or access any websites that the parents don't want them to. And then for the final product that we chose for the office, it was an HP color printer. We chose this printer mostly because of it is Wi-Fi connected. It is also a color printer and it's also Alexa compatible. So if you want Alexa to search like a color page from online, you can tell Alexa to find it and she'll print it out for you.
So for the master bedroom, we did get 2 Acer Chromebooks, and the purpose of these Chromebooks was for the parents and their work laptops. And they do come in at $230 each, and they have a built-in virus protection, they have a high battery life, and they do have online, offline Google Drive, so if you're like on the road, you can still do any work that's needed. And we did get 2 Samsung Smart TVs, one for the master bedroom and the next one was for the living room as well. And they are $250 each, 32-inch, and they have a 1080p resolution, and they're also smart TVs, so you can also connect to Hulu and Netflix as you want. And we got Nui smart LED lights, and each set is $56, and each set does come with 4, and we got 2 in total, 2 sets. And the cool thing about these lights is that they're voice command with echo. They have dimmable RGB, and they do connect with the app that you can download on your phone, so you can have like a scheduled timer, and there's different modes you can choose from.
The laundry room. For the laundry room, for the washing machine, we chose the LG. It is Wi-Fi enabled. It sends you notifications when it's done, and you can also connect it through your phone. And through your phone, you could change the wash cycles and the wash time. The LG dryer machine, the smart dryer, also Wi-Fi enabled. The special thing about this one is it goes based on the moisture of your clothes. So if your clothes are not fully dry, it will keep on going until they're dry.
As for the kitchen, we chose the Samsung's Family Hub. It is a fridge priced at around $2,000 with 4 doors, touchscreen, and Wi-Fi compatibility. You can connect with it through your phone and be able to look inside while shopping for groceries to check what you need. And then we chose a smart outlet priced at $44.99 each. It makes a non-smart home appliances compatible with Google and Alexa. You can voice control with Alexa to turn off any device in the home, and it'll cut off the power. The Roomba 960 is a Wi-Fi robot vacuum priced at around $400. It can map out your home and clean efficiently when you're not home.
So for the mobile devices, we chose 2 Samsung S10s for the work phones because of its high storage capacity and its high battery life. It can also battery share if needed. For the personal phones, we chose the Google Pixel 3a. We chose this phone because of its amazing camera quality and its fast charging capabilities. It also has Google Assistant. And then for the front door, we chose the Nest Hello doorbell. It notifies you of movement, has 24/7 streaming, and HD resolution. It also gives you the ability to watch the cameras from anywhere. And then for the dogs, we chose 2 trackers. It's $149 for a 2-pack, and these trackers, you can track your pet's location, which you can view on your phone. You can also view like the activity, so you can check where they've been throughout the day. And they're also waterproof, so you don't have to worry about them getting damaged.
And right here is the 2-day layout of the home we created, and from the side you can see that each item that we just presented is listed, and throughout the home you can tell where each item is at.
For vulnerabilities, most of these products are Wi-Fi enabled, so there's always a threat of a network breach through the smart home products. The Samsung refrigerator has been exploited to steal Gmail accounts, but was on an older model and has since been patched. The LG washing machine reported can be controlled if another person were to put their LG account onto that machine. And the Amazon Echo and Alexa have allegedly been recorded to record your audio without your knowledge. And Wi-Fi logins and passwords have been stolen through the Anobi smart bulbs.
Some security measures you can take is change your password frequently to your home network to help with your network security. You can use firewalls to prevent unauthorized access to a network and can be implemented through hardware or software. The AT&T already comes with a built-in firewall protecting your network. Using a VPN can help you protect your identity and keep your information safe online. Antiviruses like Bitdefender and Lookout's Premium Plus can give you options to scan, delete, and prevent you from downloading any malware. Centralizing your router can prevent people from connecting to your network from outside the home, and will prevent hackers from breaking into your home network. The WPA2 is a security method for wireless networks that can provide stronger data protection and network access control. And minimizing physical access to the network will prevent any manual logins and unwanted users on the network.
So this is the spreadsheet that we use to organize all of our data. We color-coded it so we can organize which rooms or which devices are in each room. We also put the pros and the cons, the prices, the model, and a description of what the items are. And
As to
then
the total cost, it comes down to $9,911 with tax included.
And that's it. Are there any questions? Yep. We are in cybersecurity.
Could theoretically somebody hack your washing machine?
She asked if someone could hack our washing machine. There hasn't been any reports of people hacking the washing machine, but like we said on the vulnerabilities, they can connect through their LG account and like change the cycle. But I'm not exactly sure if they can necessarily hack the washing machine, but I'm pretty sure it's possible. VPN. She asked what a VPN was. A VPN is something that you use to hide your identity online, so it keeps you safe whenever you're browsing the internet.
So you mentioned for your antivirus that Bitdefender was the best in the market. Why do you say that though? Like,
His question was that Bitdefender was the best what? Best antivirus on the market. It's compared to all the free antivirus software. So most free antivirus softwares, they won't protect everything. Like this one only protects Windows OS operating systems, but there's others that have better protection, but not for Windows OS operating systems.
Okay,
Any
is
more
that it?
questions?
All right. Thank you guys. Probably log out.
Biomedicine. Students explore issues in medical science and human anatomy and physiology through their involvement in dissections, medical case studies, and research projects. Students investigate how a healthy body functions and how it reacts to disease. Students will collaborate with medical professionals at various hospitals and clinics in the Fresno-Clovis area as they research a variety of medical topics.
Biotechnology, an exploding science field that leads to high-paying jobs in medicine, biology, chemistry, agriculture, and environmental science. Students will apply DNA technology to genetically engineer bacteria, solve medical mysteries, clone tissues, diagnose genetic disease, and explore drug development and testing. Students will wrestle with difficult ethical issues that arise as a result of using biotechnology to solve problems.
Business and finance. Learn to manage and invest money. Learn to be your own boss in a business you create. Students study human behaviors of producing, distributing, and consuming materials, goods, and services in a world of limited resources. They learn how the financial services industry works as they strengthen the analytical, technical, and communication skills needed to succeed in any economy.
Cybersecurity. Students learn to design, build, secure, and analyze computers and the networks that connect them. Through hands-on projects, they investigate the Internet of Things and how it is changing the way we support current technology. The Cybersecurity Lab prepares students for the CompTIA A+ certification exam, and qualified students may earn college credit through a dual enrollment program with Fresno City College.
Engineering, manufacturing, and robotics. Creativity, knowledge, and skill are used to develop solutions to real-world mechanical engineering problems. Working as individuals and in small teams, students design, test, and evaluate working prototypes of their solutions. Students will learn how to bring engineering designs into the physical world using a variety of engineering tools, skills, and practices, including cutting-edge CAD and CAM software. CNC machines, 3D printers, and laser cutters are just a few of the technologies that will be used to manufacture student-engineered designs. Students will be introduced to basic electronics, microcontrollers, and computer programming while learning to design, build, and program robotic and automation devices.
Environmental science and field research. Students take part in several field trips in order to experience the San Joaquin Valley, San Joaquin River, Pacific Coast, and Sierra Nevada mountains. Students will carry out hands-on projects relating to careers in marine biology, wildlife rehabilitation, air quality, river ecology, alternative energy, and forests. Students will have the opportunity to work with environmental professionals and government agencies to complete scientific projects. Some examples are growing native plants, restoring native wildlife habitat, rehabilitating injured and orphaned wildlife species, monitoring forests, experimenting in wetlands, and conducting studies of tide pools and beaches. Forensic research and biotechnology. Students used investigative science techniques to solve intriguing problems involving the law. Scientific evidence, DNA, fingerprinting, physical evidence, scene reconstruction, and biotechnology are used to create a picture of what happened in the past.
Interactive game design. Game design requires skill in a number of areas, including graphic design, programming, audio, app development, animation, and modeling. All students have the opportunity to learn about each of these areas while working in teams to create original games and characters rendered in both 2 and 3 dimensions. Students are introduced to industry-standard software such as 3D Studio Max, Unity 3D, XNA Game Studio, Unreal, Flash, and Photoshop. Law and order and policy. Students study the major aspects of constitutional, criminal, and civil law. Projects teach students about their individual.
Does it not play through the website? Or, oh, it's the
No,
different
'cause
edit?
we couldn't get it on the website.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just make sure you guys use the mics because we're doing like a broadcast for this too, so it's going to have to be internet.
Rights and criminal procedure, how laws are made, and how to make a legal argument. Students learn to research and discuss current and historical controversial issues relating to the law. All students have the opportunity to participate in mock trials and field trips to local and federal courthouses and law firms.
Video student.
I'm Valerie Yang, and I'm a video student.
I'm Jackson Gaebel. I'm a video student.
I'm Isabela Lopez. I'm a graphic student.
I'm Kacie, Madsen, and I'm also a graphic student.
And our documentary is called Inequality, and it's about the women's pay gap.
So for this project, we basically had to find a topic in the real world that is an issue right now. And we decided to go with women's rights, and to go more in depth, we chose the gender pay gap.
And we're going to play our video right now. Oh, the initials in the bottom left or right or whatever are names, so that's what they are.
On June 10, 1963, the Equal Pay Act was signed, which stated that women and men would be paid equally for an equal amount of labor. However, 55 years later, women are still paid less than men for an equal amount of work. This is known as the gender pay gap.
The gender pay gap refers to overall differences in pay, usually between men and women. Women typically make less even for equal work than men do. Gender pay gap can also refer to the fact that more laborers in the occupation that are women, that identify as women, those professions tend to pay less.
To understand the reasons behind the gender pay gap, we must first investigate its history.
If you look at it through the course of American history, women have historically always been paid lower than men. That gap has actually been bigger in certain parts in U.S. history. And in fact, throughout most of American history, it's been legal to pay women less simply because they were women. So there's this historical assumption that if men are working, they're doing it to support their wives and their children, or if women are working, right, they're working for a little bit of extra, which is just simply not true.
These perceived notions that we're all alike or we're all the same and we don't work as hard. But if we do work harder and we don't stay home with our children, then we must be heartless and cold. And so we're a different breed of women versus, the men have never been labeled heartless or cold for not taking paternity leave.
In America today, finding a job as a woman can be frustrating and challenging. And even if they do get a job, it's not likely that they will get paid as much as male coworkers.
I'm seeing signs now that, to be frank, are quite disturbing. I mean, it throws back to an earlier era. I think it'll all correct itself, but I think we're in a throwback period right now, if I would call it that.
Historically, high-paying jobs require college degrees, specialty certifications, or completion of trade school programs. Due to a woman's past, job position, or education level, it can cause people to devalue her actual skills. There are also stereotyped jobs that are known to only be for men or women. Analysis of women's and men's earnings over 15 years found that women make just half of what men earn. A woman's race or ethnicity can also be a cause of the gender pay gap, and as to why women are discriminated against and paid less.
So if women in general are already overlooked when they go for executive positions, being a woman of a minority race and being a woman has like double standards against you already.
For every dollar that a man earns, women earn around 80 cents. Varies by a few pennies depending on the year in the study. That gap is significantly wider if you look at women of color. So I think the latest data on, say, for black women, it's like if you compare their overall wages to white men, I think it's like 60 cents on the dollar. There's a gender pay gap, but there's also a racial gender pay gap, right, that gets even wider if you're looking specifically at the wages of women of color compared to white men.
It was easy for employers to say that women were not as qualified as their male counterparts because they did not have the same level of education or experience.
I raised the ranks to this company, but at the end of the day, it was still, well, you're a woman, and I wasn't allowed to do certain things that they were allowed to do. My pay was not the same, as I realized later on as I worked harder.
Many women tend to have fewer opportunities or disadvantages due to the stereotypical sayings that society has created for them.
So women play the role of caretaker, of raising the children, being the either stay-at-home mom.
If you think about your paid work that you do as the first shift, right, then what are parents, mostly women, having to do after that? They have to go home and do all that unpaid labor afterwards. Then you have women that are doubly disadvantaged in many families because they're doing all that unpaid labor and then they're not being paid fairly for their paid work.
I made sure I knew my stuff. I made sure that I had it. No one was going to tell me no because I was a woman. That's fine. I mean, it was their choice at the time, but it was only going to be because I was a woman, not because I couldn't bring the knowledge and power behind it.
This gender pay gap will greatly affect not only the woman, but her family.
When you have, a 20% pay gap, that's a lot of food that a mother or a woman can't buy for themselves or for their children. That's healthcare, that's diapers, that's, certainly housing, all of the things that parents have to provide to care for their children and that they have to provide to care for themselves.
The biggest question of this gender pay gap is how it can be solved since it is complex.
We need to probably make policies to help our women achieve and get jobs, because there are some policies from companies that hold us back.
I think we can just do a lot as a society to get rid of our gender stereotypes, So your gender does not dictate what kind of work necessarily that you're going to be good at. Women can do any job that a man can, and same thing for men, right? I mean, I think we have to really value women's abilities to do all kinds of work, not just the low-paid occupations, but also I think that means valuing men's caregiving and really expecting men to step up and provide their fair share, because we're never really going to fix this problem, right, if we don't have men and women equally splitting that second shift.
With the hope of the gender pay gap closing and the reduction of it, we would be able to change many women's lives and hopefully bring a new era of prosperity for women.
All right, so that was our documentary, and as you can see, like on the bottom right, it showed each of our initials for video students who recorded their part. So my section of the documentary, I covered what is the gender pay gap and how race could be a big play on that. So not just me, but us three, we had to reach out to the community for people who were like professionals or had a sense of knowledge of this gender pay gap to be included into our video. And
so for my portion, I did history, and so we looked at the history of how women were paid, and I used the president from the Fresno Women's Network and an interview from a Fresno State professor.
So my portion of the video was a job opportunity. So I went out to real work environments like construction sites or secretarial offices to show those real working environments. And then I also went to Fresno State to shoot some video to show how education can affect jobs that could be available for you.
And some of the programs that we used to edit our documentary were Premiere Pro, Adobe Audition, and Prelude, and After Effects to create our logo to life.
So this is my website. There's a home page and about page, and on the about page it shows my logo that you might have seen in the film. I created the women's sexuality sign by creating it how the Q in inequality, and I also put a gap in between women's pay gap so that you could visually see what our documentary was going to be about.
Okay, so this is my infographic. It states basically that there is a problem between the women's pay gap and that men are more paid than women by about 20%. The infographic shows that there's statistics, and I think a very important part about it is that it's racial because ethnicity, sex, education, and skin color. I created this in Adobe Photoshop using pen tools and other electronic tools to create the images that you see here.
I also used Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator to use some Photoshop tools to create these little icons next to the information that we got from our research paper. And definitely one of my most favorite things that I put on here is that our society still holds cultural beliefs. So just like in the old era, they used men as the more dominant pay rate and used women as the home takers and take care of your kids.
This is our project. Thank you for coming. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
I guess like you guys are throwing out a lot of information out there, but like I guess as a group, what you guys say like how to make it different, or like just like how like challenges used? You guys have an answer on that?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Like you guys did throw out a lot of information, and that's great, but like sorry, but like what do you guys think that we can do, like we like in this presentation, what do you guys think that we can do to like help challenge these things?
I think everybody can just approach this like with an open mind, because a lot of people are still like ignorant about this topic, you know. So I think we can all just come to an understanding of why women are being paid less. And,
Students explore issues in
and
medical
just
science and human
really get to
anatomy
understand
and
why
physiology
this
through
is
their
going on
involvement
and
in
stop, like,
dissections,
clashing at each
medical
other.
case studies, and research projects.
Yeah, that's just how I see it.
Students
just like
investigate how a healthy body functions and how it reacts
and
to
just
disease.
to, you know, speak
Before I
up
came
for
to
yourself.
I was just some skater kid that didn't know how to
Any
talk
other
to people.
questions?
Here at very professional. I know how to talk to people.
Wouldn't speaking up sometimes cause you to lose your job or
so I really learned a
get
lot.
mistreated?
Looking at things from different angles. And not being
Actually,
afraid to
the
ask
the woman that I
questions.
interviewed, Jamie Dean, the
theory is
president
okay.
of the Fresno Women's
It's good to
Network,
know
had trouble with that.
a foundation of understanding,
She was discriminated
but then
against
how
with
do
her
we apply that
pay,
understanding?
and she
And I think that's really left out a
she
lot.
was dropped down the ranks because she spoke up about it.
So it kind of depends on basically like who you're working for.
Okay, thank you.
In traditional curriculum, you learn things, you memorize things, and then you regurgitate them for an exam. Whereas here at CART, you might learn a concept, but then all of a sudden you have 3 teachers asking you the same concept in different ways. And then you have to be able to apply it in different scenarios. And that's much more real world. That's what I deal with every day.
How to communicate with others in a professional manner, how to act in a professional environment, how to dress, how to present yourself, prepare a resume, write a resume, conduct an interview. All those things were really valuable.
In the second year program with biochemistry and OChem, you don't get that in a normal high school. And you're expected to go into college first year knowing what this stuff. So you got to exposed to a lot of stuff that other high schools don't offer.
I'm studying hard and I'm taking work seriously and treating every day like an interview. Several professional people came in here and had potential to be my mentor or a future employer, and so they just instilled that you need to act professional and treat everyone like they could be your future boss.
What I really loved about CART was that the different type of environment it wasn't kind of like an overwhelming environment. It was more of a relaxed but like a fun environment. I actually enjoyed coming to school here. I enjoyed every single day. I like to wake up and come to CART.
In my experience here, and then moving on to Fresno State, I got less and less feedback from professors. I got, A's and B's on my papers, whereas everybody else kind of struggled with the new college structure and the expectations of how do you write a report and how do you explain this and what do you mean research a topic. And so all of those skills I learned here, and it came easier for me.
Being able to stand up in front of a classroom and talk in front of hundreds of people. Especially in the first year and second year program, we did showcase. We were able to pick a disease, do a poster on it, do research papers on it, and be able to educate the public. Being able to talk to people, especially MDs that would come in that already know the material, and being able to...
Well, I don't want people to be like, I'm seeing a clip, or do you want... It's okay. I'm just saying. Shut up. You just be right here. Right? Yes. Victoria, you're gonna do good. You're gonna do awesome. Take a deep breath. Good? Victoria. No. Yeah. Breathe with it. In. Out.
And just click over to go to the first one with your logo.
You're gonna do great. You have your notes right there. Cool. Your story's good.
Hello, my name is Nicholas.
I'm Ryan.
I'm McKenzie.
I'm Brentney.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Luaren, and we are RADIANCE. We are a group of teens who are passionate about supporting those who have been affected by mental illness because each of us has been touched by it at some point of our lives. Whether it's been someone we're close to ourselves, we know how it feels. I personally have struggled with the all too common symptoms of depression and anxiety during a very stressful and low point in my life, and the everyday strife of being a teenager on top of personal drama just became way too much for me to handle, and I began to feel unlike myself and unhappy. I was lucky enough to have a support system behind me that encouraged me to get help, and even with that support system, it was difficult. I know so many people that don't have those kinds of people behind them, and that's what we want to do. We want to be the support system for our fellow teens to teach them about their own mental health and how to listen to the emotions of others. So, when we were given the opportunity to help teens in our area who are struggling with mental illness, we jumped at it. For the past 3 months, we've been learning about advocacy and researching how to implement a policy that will get the ball rolling on ending the issue of mental illness in students.
As someone who deals with social anxiety, I know how tough it can be for people not to understand what your internal struggles are. And using myself as an example, mental health doesn't discriminate against gender, sexuality, or religion. It affects all of us, especially teens. Nowadays, a reason why this is very personal to me is because someone that I know deals with depression and anxiety on a daily basis. But you wouldn't know that because he's very outgoing, and when you meet him, he's very talkative and very open. But once you really get to know him, you can tell that he struggles internally with these mental issues. And due to the fact that a lot of people tend to say that teens can't deal with these things, we shouldn't doubt the signs of mental illness because of someone's age.
So, 1 in 7 people suffer from a mental illness around the world, accounting for approximately 1 billion people. Now, suicide is the second leading cause of death between the people of ages 10 to 34, and LGBT plus teens are 4 times more likely to commit suicide than the average teen. I personally suffer from both depression and anxiety, and it is very difficult for me with these mental illnesses to actually focus on work and complete work even when I lack the motivation to do so, because some of these symptoms for these illnesses are actually really hard to deal with. For example, some of these symptoms for depression include anxiety, insomnia, loss of interest or pleasure in activities, loss of appetite, lack of concentration, thoughts of suicide, and weight gain or weight loss. And some of these symptoms for anxiety are hypervigilance, racing or unwanted thoughts, fatigue, insomnia, and nausea. And these symptoms are very hard to deal with, especially since most of these deal with our head, which is what most students use in their school career. And it is very heartbreaking that most of them, because of these issues, won't be able to get the future that they want and that they deserve.
So at the beginning of our project, we researched policies, and this one was the most recent one for suicidal prevention. It's located in Fresno and Clovis Unified, and it's mainly on Fresno Unified's back of their ID cards. Some positives about this policy is students have a support system such as teachers and staff to talk to and basically explain what they're going through. Some negatives include students are afraid or embarrassed to talk about their problems and come out with their issues. Being myself, I suffer from depression of my sister because she passed away in 2017. It's very hard for me to talk about how I feel to other people because it's, I don't know how they will judge me or, like, I don't know how they will see me, and it's hard to just talk about it in front of others.
My name is Brentney, and I suffer from depression and suicidal thoughts. One of the main reasons teenagers like ourselves suffer from depression and anxiety and other mental illnesses is because we are not being listened to. And as a first step in this predicament, my colleagues, along with the help of our mentor, Doug Knoll, we found that the act of affect labeling works best. And affect labeling, to put into simpler terms, would be to put words to one's feelings, which can make a person feel emotionally validated and make them feel comfortable and less distressed in their everyday situations. So we decided to come up with a sort of a class that we could teach at Fresno High School. And in this class, students will learn how to affect label, and they will also learn how to tend to the emotions of others, as well as understand their emotions and how to de-escalate their peers who are angry or upset or happy or any sort of emotion, really. This class will take place at Fresno High once a week for 6 weeks. It will take place during the 4th period because that is the transition period from CART back to Fresno High. And it will happen in the restorative justice teachers class, who we've already gotten permission from. It'll take place from 11:40 a.m. to 12:19 p.m., so roughly 30 minutes. There will be a maximum of 15 students allowed because this course will only be taught by me and my friend Linda, who will be trained in affect labeling and how to teach and do that by Doug Knoll, guy on the screen, in February. And we will hopefully start this program, this class, early to mid-March. And the way we'll get the word out is we'll hand out flyers that we've made to the English and social science classes of students ranging from freshmen to seniors. And it will also be a permission slip basis, so students will have to go pick up a permission slip in the designated room. And it'll have to be signed by their teacher of their 4th period and their parents each week, each session. There's also a 2-session dropout period, so if they come to the first 2 sessions and don't like it, they can leave, but after they're in the 3rd, they have to stay.
So for our cost and benefits, the total will be about $346.40. About 146 of it will go to the book De-Escalate, which we're basing RADIANCE off of. About 100 of it will go to supplies like posters, flyers, notebooks, stuff like that. And 100 of it will go stuff like food and incentives, like snacks. So for the benefits of this, American Psychological Association, or the APA, journal Emotion, did a study where affect labeling is used in high stressful situations, and when it's used, it makes the situation a lot less stressful. And then another study done by the CDC said that 65% of people who feel like they're connected or listened to by their family are far less likely to misuse and abuse drugs as an adult. And although this study doesn't involve affect labeling can be one of the first steps to connecting with people's families. And if people have misused drugs in the past, this could be a way of reconnecting them back to their families.
So throughout this project, we talked with the Fresno High principal, Miss Lehner, and she gave us the go-ahead on adding this program to the school. But before we did that, we asked a couple of teachers if we can pull students out, because this will be taking class time out of their day, and we just didn't want to pull them out randomly without the teacher's permission. And we will be using the restorative justice room, and we've also talked with our mentors, Doug Knoll and Josh Cantrell, and they're professionals on mental health, and they've given us a lot of information on how to start the program and how to approach it in the school.
Excuse me. So in this project, we were given the opportunity to design a billboard, and so ours features Ryan, and it plays off the phrase, "It's just a phase," that so many of us hear from parents or friends. And that's really the problem, is that we don't know how to listen to the emotions of others, and we often find ourselves invalidating the feelings of others. So we wanted to display this inner struggle of mental illness.
So I wrote this poem, and it's called Change, and I wrote it in the perspective of a boy struggling with depression. I'm gonna read it now. Hurt is what I felt all day. Pain never seemed to fade away. Friends didn't seem to care, for I had no one there. Waking up throughout the night because depression was in my sight. Going to school, it was vain, but my peers didn't seem to notice my pain. I sat alone, no one but fright, so I silently suffered in plain sight. I didn't know what to do, I was feeling just too blue. In my bed, I lie awake, contemplating if I should stay. I grabbed the knife and said goodbye, but I got a call at the same time. I answered the phone and said hello, and a person answered, "Hey bro, I noticed you've been feeling down, and I just wanted to help you out." Finally, a ray of hope, and now I could cope. All it takes is just one I hit everything except the fact I forgot to say the name.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I love when you get to the graph, and then also how you explain the CDC.
Yeah.
Right on point. Right on point. Thank you.
I worked with them a bit this morning.
Thank you.
Prove to them that you understand what you're learning.
At CART, my grades never changed, whether I went to Bullard, whether I went to CART. I pretty much pulled a 3.7 all my years. What it really helped me do was apply what I learned. And I think from CART, I learned that it was more important to understand the concepts and ideas over just the grade.
CART helped me prepare for my current career by teaching me the software and the technical skills I needed, but also teaching me how to network, work with a group, promote myself as well as my product with my group. I feel like without CART, I probably wouldn't be able to present myself as well. I may have learned on my own in my dark room how to edit and use cameras and whatnot, but I might not have learned the people skills and how to present a final project like I learned here.
I knew how to present myself in front of a class. I knew how to dress, I knew that you need to dress professionally. I knew what it took to research a topic, properly cite it, read the material, and then come up with your own idea of what you read and how it relates to the topic, and put that on paper. Those are all things I learned here.
Before I'd come to CART, I didn't know how to write a resume. I didn't have one. I didn't know what to put on it. I didn't know what it was supposed to look like. I've never even seen one before. So CART helped me a lot. It helped me actually learn how to write a resume, and then with that resume, I was able to get a job, and then get work experience, get money to help pay for college and all this.
I wouldn't have even gone to Fresno State the year I did if it wasn't for CART. My friend Ben, he told me about CART, and I don't think he had a friend here, and I didn't know about CART, didn't know what it was, and so I ended up coming to the...
Nothing. What?
It is. Yo, remember the goldfish group? Are you guys ready? Yeah, I'm over here. No, we have like 2 minutes. Do we start now or in 2 minutes? Okay.
So as we all grown up photos. So as we all grown up photos and drinking water.
Probably tonight, this will be packed.
Huh.
This will be like this tonight. Tonight it will be standing room only. Yes.
The music that we used to emphasize the dangers of texting while driving were Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Bro. Fuck.
Hello, everyone. The topic we chose for our campaign is texting and driving. This is Gage Edwards. He was the star of his high school's football team. He was not only an extraordinary athlete, but he was a great friend, brother, and son. His teammates admired him and his opponents respected him. On January 31st at around 1 p.m., Gage would read a text sent by his mother, which caused him to lose focus and veer off the road. This crash sent a shockwave throughout the community. Most of his teammates decided that they were going to stop playing football because they couldn't imagine playing without Gage by their side. They thought about what Gage would do in this instance, though, and Gage would never quit because of somebody, but instead play for them. So that's exactly what they decided to do, is play the sport that he so dearly loved in his honor. Texting and driving has become a huge problem in our society today. Most people have the mindset, this will never be my son, this will never be my daughter. But Gage was somebody's son. He was somebody's brother. And unfortunately, he's just one of the thousands of teens that lose their life due to cell phone abuse on the road. This is Right Click Media. I'm Piper Taylor.
I'm Jaden Cruz.
I'm Elizabeth Lemons.
I'm Mason Toomer. And I'm Gannon Biggs.
Being a part of the marketing lab, we learned that you really want to pick a brand for yourself the way you want to be represented in the public. So we decided to pick Right Click Media because our entire campaign is based around technology, and we thought that was the right fit for our creative team.
All right, so the campaign purpose is to inform both teens and adults. We want to keep drivers safe and also warn drivers about the dangers of texting and driving. We want to raise awareness in our communities and spark ideas of prevention.
So some background information on texting and driving. The first phone was invented in 1877 by Alexander Graham Bell, but obviously texting and driving didn't become an issue until phones gained the ability to text. The first to do so was Nokia's 9000i communicator, invented in 1993. But even after the Nokia, texting on the road really wasn't that common. It was until the invention of the first iPhone in 2007 that the epidemic really started.
The invention of the iPhone is what really sparked the growth of texting and driving. As technology became more advanced, texting and driving became more prevalent. Washington was actually the first state to ban texting and driving in 2007, with many other states following soon after.
For every 1 out of 4 accidents, texting while driving has been the cause of it, which has then led to 390,000 injuries per year. And it is also, so as we've all grown up, we've always been told that drinking while driving is the most dangerous thing that you can do. And it is very dangerous, but statistically, it's actually been shown that texting while driving is more dangerous and can even cause more accidents. Texting while driving has caused 1.6 million crashes per year and devastating tragedies that can't be taken back. Your life can be one way 1 second and completely different the next. Don't let that 1 second be the reason why your life changes so fast, so suddenly.
We talked to 2 organizations for our campaign. The first organization we talked to was the Clovis Police Department, and the second was Teens Against Distracted Driving. At the Clovis Police Department, we talked to Officer Ashcraft, and he explained the biggest issue on this topic today is that texting and driving is not considered a moving violation, which means if you get pulled over for texting and driving, it is not a mark on your license, it's only a fine. He explained the severity of this issue in a patrol story he told us, in which he pulled over the same young woman 4 times in a row at the same location at the same time, and her response to being ticketed was, "It's fine, my boyfriend will pay for it." So this just kind of shows you if you have the means to pay for the ticket, your behavior on the road really won't change. We also talked to Jason Epstein at Teens Against Distracted Driving. He's a lawyer that saw firsthand the devastation and loss that texting on the road can cause, and decided that he wanted to target teens to try to change a whole generation's perception of texting and driving.
So for previous campaigns, throughout our research, we found many campaigns, but these 2 really caught our eye in particular. First being Oprah Winfrey's No Phone Zone pledge, where basically she put out an episode interviewing people who've personally been affected by texting and driving. And then she taught teens different alternatives to texting while on the road, and then had people pledge to never text and drive at home and for the people that were involved in the video. The second being AT&T's X-Text campaign involving the Jonas Brothers, where the Jonas Brothers played in a series of softball games just to raise awareness for texting and driving. And then they had teens from the stands come down, dip their thumbs in ink pads, put them on a whiteboard, and then pledge to never text and drive. So for survey analysis, we need to find if this was just something we see on TV or if it was local as well. So we surveyed more than 100 students at CART, first starting with more demographic questions such as what age they were, what gender, and moving into more personal questions about texting and driving. And eventually leading this question here, asking if any of the following have ever occurred, have they ever been in a car accident, a family member, or almost being. We found that over half of the students here at CART surveyed have been in one of these incidents, which just shows that texting and driving can really happen to anyone at any given time.
For our campaign, we want to take a different creative approach than most PSAs that you see on texting and driving today. Most PSAs you see show that really graphic car crash that really tries to scare the audience, and we want to do something different. Our entire campaign is based on the statistic that texting while driving for 5 seconds is the equivalent of driving blindfolded for the distance of a football field if you're going 55 miles per hour. And we were really inspired by that statistic because we thought no rational person would get into a vehicle with a blindfolded driver. So we really wanted to use that idea, and we kind of created a society in which driving blindfolded was considered normal to kind of show the audience about how distracted you are while driving.
So basically, just to go off what Piper had said, we wanted to go a different route, and that's why we went with the blindfold effect, because if you were blindfolded and driving, you wouldn't do it, right? Because it just sounds silly. Well, it's the same thing as looking at your phone. You're not looking at the road. You're basically being blindfolded, and that's what we wanted to emphasize in our video.
All right, this is our billboard that we created to promote our video. It shows a teen driving with a blindfold on to represent how ridiculous it is to actually text and drive. On the left-hand side, it says text and drive, and we really put emphasis on the letters DIE to show that texting and driving can be very deadly. In the bottom right-hand corner, we put the Clovis Police Department logo because that was our main source for information.
This is our website. So at the homepage of our website, we just have some facts provided by Drive Safely, and then we just have a little bit of a summary of the dangers of texting and driving. And then we have our campaign video with stills from our video shoot. And then we have our research that we did at CART. And then we just provided some victim stories on here. And then we just have a little bit of our creative team and a little bit about ourselves.
The three main platforms that we used to emphasize the dangers of texting while driving were Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We used Facebook to target more of an adult audience, and then Instagram and Twitter for mostly teens. So our Instagram just has our campaign and some stills from our video, and then a picture with Officer Richard, the guy we interviewed for our campaign. And then our Twitter also has our billboard. And our Facebook just has some of the same pictures just to create some emphasis.
We hope from this presentation you can understand that these aren't just statistics, these aren't just numbers. These are real people that lives were affected by texting and driving. And any one of you sitting here today, your name could be up here, and we hope that you can leave here today being more mindful of your phone usage on the road. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just hold it for a long time.
Business and finance class, I joined him.
When you do it at the other schools, when you're talking to people that really don't care about the subject, when you talk to people that all care about the subject, your confidence kind of rises because you're not just saying things that no one cares about. When you're actually talking to people, your peers, the ones that actually care, it really boosts your confidence and makes it easier to speak in public places.
To learn on a greater level, the MD that I shadowed actually let me listen to lung sounds and let me observe certain procedures, and you're literally their shadow, so you're in every single room that they're in, and so you see a lot and you're exposed to a lot.
Time management is definitely a big one. Working on my research project throughout the semesters allowed me to not only organize the time I was going to spend on certain parts and structures of that report, but it was also something that I took back in college and I utilized daily, and I'm utilizing now in my job.
I got the Weber Scholarship, which I didn't think I would get. So I went from not knowing how to, turn on a computer to being able to go to Fresno State.
Believe it or not, I was on the rather bottom tier of the academic scale. However, I had a lot of things that they didn't have. I had work experience through the United States Forest Service. I had an actual resume that I could present to them. I had volunteer experience. I knew how to network, which was a really important thing. I essentially had developed a library of people through CART that I met and worked with through my time here, and that helped me a lot.
What I know out of the skills that I learned from being here at CART was presentation skills and professionalism.
Okay. Good morning. For our project, we researched how re-engineered polio could be used as a treatment for glioblastomas. I'm Lily, this is Melanie, and Alexa.
So polio is a highly contagious viral disease that causes paralysis due to the attack on the human nervous system. Scientists wish to engineer it to target tumors instead in a process called immunotherapy, and they believe they will be able to do so because polio enters the cell through a protein gate similar to that found in glioblastoma tumor cells.
Matthew Scromier, pictured here in his lab at Duke University, is the main developer behind the re-engineered poliovirus. After a lengthy amount of research, he found that polio was ideal because of its ability to seek out and attach to specific receptors found in glioblastomas.
So there are many types of brain cancer, but we are going to explain a few of them, the first being astrocytomas. Astrocytomas are cancerous tumors forming from astrocytes, which are star-shaped cells that make up the glue-like supportive tissue of the brain. Right here is an astrocytoma that formed in the cerebrum, and this is what an astrocytic cell looks like. The next type are ependymomas. Ependymomas are cancerous tumors forming in any part of the spine, the neck, or the brain. They are created from ependymal cells found in the fluid of the ventricles of those three areas. Here's an ependymoma that formed in the fourth ventricle of the brain, and this is an ependymoma that formed in the spine of a patient. The last type are glioblastomas. Glioblastomas are a type of astrocytoma forming from astrocytes. They occur in the cerebrum, which is the largest part of the brain, and their tumors themselves make up their own blood supply, which allows them to grow and multiply.
Cancer forms tumors in the body. These tumors have a series of mutations, the first being initiation, second promotion, third progression, and fourth metastatic. These tumors often avoid the body's natural defenses, which can lead to full infiltration of the organs. And in places like the heart or brain where glioblastomas are located, it can lead to death.
So glioblastomas are lethal grade 4 tumors, which means that the cells in the tumor are rapidly reproducing and dividing. The glioblastomas are made from abnormal astrocytic cells, and they're very invasive and start in one part of the brain but grow to infect and invade multiple other parts of the brain as well. Like other cancers, brain cancers have 4 grades, grade 1 being the least invasive, with the cells reproducing at much slower rates than a grade 4 tumor like glioblastomas. The higher the grade, the more aggressive the tumor is.
Symptoms of glioblastoma or glioma tumors include headache, nausea or vomiting, confusion or decline in brain function, memory loss, personality changes or irritability, and difficulty with balance.
The types of treatment available to patients with glioblastomas right now are surgery, chemo, and radiotherapy. Surgery involves a surgical biopsy, resection, and shunt placement. Surgical biopsy is when a portion of the tumor is removed in order to determine whether it is malignant or benign. Resection is when the neurosurgeon attempts to remove all parts of the tumor from the brain, and shunt placement is when a temporary drain is placed to remove cranial pressure. Chemo can be started 2 to 4 weeks after surgery or used as a primary treatment. It works by targeting all rapidly dividing cells, which includes hair follicles, for example, which is why the chemo patients experience their hair loss. Radiotherapy uses radiation to kill the cancer cells, and it works by targeting all specific cancer cells and killing or destroying them. The reason why doctors are trying to find better treatments for glioblastoma patients are because the 3 I just mentioned often have super excessive side effects, such as fatigue, sores, back deterioration, and multiple other long-term side effects. This is a picture of a patient experiencing skin deterioration after chemo.
Scientists decided to use polio because of its ability to invade the central nervous system. They began the modification by cutting out common instructions of polio and symptoms like paralysis, which ultimately eliminates the harm to the human body. They then add the cold virus, which triggers the immune system to start fighting off the tumors. The replacement of these two redirects the killing ability to start fighting off the tumors and be more attracted to cancer cells. Doctors and scientists are still going through phases and have been working on it for 5 years. This treatment is administered through a surgical catheter, which is inserted in a hole that has been drilled in the patient's brain. Doctors use CT scans to guide them through and come in direct contact with the tumor. After the administration, a huge immune response happens, which starts fighting off those glioblastoma cancerous tumors. The public is hesitant to use this treatment because it is new and still going through phases. However, it is proven that 17% more patients have survived from this treatment compared to older cancer treatments. Some major drawbacks that we face are that it's not readily available to the public yet. It still must go through FDA approval phases, which can take up to 5 years. And also, if the treatment is injected improperly, it has the risk of spreading to surrounding normal cells.
The median cost for the research and development of a new drug is $19 million. First world countries have more access to these new developments in biotech because they have more money to fund the research, whereas third world countries are stuck using previous cancer treatments such as surgery and chemo because they don't have the funds to support the new research. Doctors are also testing the re-engineered poliovirus on less invasive forms of cancer such as melanoma in order to perfect it. Thank you. Any questions? Yes. Oh, we're biotechnology.
What's up, Buchanan? I'm Tristan Manabog, and I'm a bear just like you. But I also go to CART. CART's a really great program, and this is for you to check out. See? Pretty cool space. That's just a little bit of what CART's like. For additional info, go to cart.org, and I hope to see you here next year.
What's up, Bullard? What's up, Bullard? My name's Niani, and I'm a knight just like you. But I'm also a CART student. It's super different.
Hey, Clevisiste. My name's AJ Aspirin, and I'm a Timberwolf just like you. But I'm also a CART student. Now, CART's pretty awesome. Here, check this out. that was just a snippet of what CART's all about. Pretty cool, right? For more information, go ahead and go to cart.org. I hope to see you next fall.
Hey Clovis High, my name is Jacqueline, and I'm a cougar just like you. But I also go to CART. It's a really great program. Check it out.
Okay. Should I stand? Should I stand or no? Okay, look, this is if I stand. And this is if I'm on my knees. And this is if I'm off. I'll just stand. Okay.
Asians have small eyes. Asians eat cats and dogs. Well, those are the labels put upon us through the eyes of society. Hi, I'm Lindsay Vu.
I'm Hermione Moore.
I'm Nigel Tao.
I'm Sky Ving.
I'm Chakong Yang.
And we are Perception.
So the goal of our campaign is to raise awareness for Asians in the media by informing the general public of all the negative implications given to Asians in America. Asian stereotypes have been around for a long time, and even if we deny it, it does come from some truth of the past.
In dates as far back, the most notable event of Asian representation is the Japanese internment camps. When they were released, the older generation, they told the future generations to not bring anything bad that would negatively impact their image, which led to the modern Asian stereotypes that we know today, which is like Asians are smart, they get good grades, they're good at math, or they're going to become a doctor. And as time and as media has developed, the younger generation no longer cares about the influence that these Asian stereotypes have.
So we surveyed 100 high school students here at CART about what Asian stereotypes they were aware of. And a majority of survey takers stated that they were aware of our modern Asian stereotypes, such as Asians are smart, Asians are good at math, Asians have small eyes. But what does this mean? This means that the teenage population has already perceived Asian Americans as one or more of these stereotypes. Another question we asked our survey takers was, how are Asian Americans represented in film and media? A majority state that they believe Asians are represented as nerdy, martial artists, or foreigners. This shows that modern film and media have labeled and perceived Asians to such an extent that society deems these stereotypes as fact. But 21% respond that they're represented no different than any other actor. This could possibly be due to the individual believing that the stereotypes are true, or that they are used to films taking this one-lane approach of mainly casting white actors. But our racial demographics have changed, and as we are the fastest growing racial ethnic group in America, we will need better representation.
As Jakong said, the Asian population is growing tremendously in America, currently leaving us with 18 million. Out of that 18 million, only a few choose to pursue the entertainment industry due to the low opportunities they provide for diversity. On the graph, it says that over 70% of actors in Hollywood are white, and that only 5% of them are Asian. So if we were to do the math, we would only get about right under 8,000 people, majority of these people not even playing a significant role. And if they are, they're usually playing the stereotypical Asian, leading us into being misrepresented in film and media. The impact of Asian misrepresentation. Well, whether we like it or not, it truly affects every one of us in this room, no matter the race. It gives people the misconceptions of just how a regular person is based on their ethnicity. It allows them to judge someone before even getting to know them, which can eventually lead into a habit with anything. But of course, it mainly affects Asians, especially teens. While we're in this little phase of life trying to figure out who we want to be, what we want to do, basically our identity, and that itself is already hard enough, but when society puts these labels on us saying that we're supposed to be smart, we're going to be doctors, we're the model minority, it makes it so much harder. This can eventually lead to bullying, depression, and even suicide.
For organizations, we contacted and interviewed the Center for Asian American Media, which is located in San Francisco, California. They are a nonprofit organization whose sole mission is to convey the richness and diversity of the Asian American experience to the broadest audience possible.
Our campaign is remove the label with the targeted audience of the general population, but with a focus on teens. For our creative strategy, we wanted to bring these stereotypes to life and how they affect teens and those around them.
So to hit our target audience, we created Instagram to hit our teens and a Facebook to hit our old audience.
For Instagram, we chose that as our platform for teens, as teens are one of the most influential demographic, and we can showcase these stereotypes and how they affect teens. For Facebook, we chose that as our platform to target the older demographic, which are adults, as they have gone through these stereotypes and these struggles.
Leading to the website, where we compiled all of our work and research together. If we get to the homepage, this is a summary of all of our work, basically. And about us is a little bit more about the team, perception. And the campaign has all of our media resources. And our blog is where you can follow along with us as we work. And the contact us is where you can contact us, if anything.
We created a billboard to portray the effects of Asian stereotypes. Therefore, we showcased our actors, and we put the statement, being aware is one step towards understanding. We also put the organization that we interviewed contact information, and our hashtag remove the label.
For our video, we follow the lives of 3 regular students and how they are placed under this specific stereotype of how it affects them in their daily lives. And here is our video.
You may have heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, and this is an extension of that. If there's anything we would like our audience here to take away from this presentation, it'd be to not let what you hear or see about a person or a race determine how you act towards them. Thank you, we are Perception, and we want you to help remove the label. Are there any questions? Now that's awkward. Yes?
For the video process, it took us about a whole week to make, basically, so. Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that glimpse into how CART is so different. For more information, go to cart.org. See you soon!
What's up, Broncos? My name's Nathan Salloway, and I go to Clovis North just like you. But I also go to CART, also known as the Center for Advanced Research and Technology. Check it out.
Collar. Jenga burger.
Hey, Wetzel.
You can stack it. I got you. I got you.
Okay.
Let me see. A stack. I showed you these pictures already. Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not called. It's called burger on a stick. On a stick.
It's a little late now.
It's too late for that.
Make
You're
sure
good.
that
Yeah.
it still works.
No, not yet. Do we even need microphones? I think I'm pretty loud.
No, we need microphones.
You do.
I read. Okay, whatever. Time is
I don't think so.
Close the door.
I don't know. No, because they just walked out.
I'm scared.
They just walked out.
Shanika, stop talking about me.
No, because they just walked out, so we have to wait for them to come back. I think.
Jenga burger is more important than class.
I don't know. I don't know. $44.
Okay. Let's just start. Okay, we're gonna start.
Gonna go.
Okay. So, good morning. America has created an expectation. This is what you think of when you think of a really delicious burger, and this is what you actually receive at fast food restaurants because of low quality ingredients and false advertisement. Jenga Burger is jumping into the burger industry with a new concept and twist on the expectation of what you guys consider a burger.
So we're Jenga Burger. My name is Shelby.
My name is Sam.
My name's Anthony.
And my name is Quentin.
So let me tell you a little bit about how Jenga Burger became to be. So we were all we were going to the same high school, and we were the type of group you would never expect. Shelby was the average girl who everyone knew of, and she was nice, and she was just the average girl. And Anthony over here, he kind of hung out with the wrong crowd, and he wasn't really goal-oriented with school. Solomon was really popular, and he was only focused on his appearance and social media platforms. I was just a music nerd who was just stuck in the band room all the time, and I never stepped out. And Quentin over here, he came straight from Canada, so he was going to a high school in California with no friends, and he was unsure about the environment. And so, ironically, we all had the same AP Stats class together, and we were in the same group. And Quentin invited us over to his house for burgers because he wanted to try to make friends. Reluctantly, we all went, and it was super awkward the whole time. And Anthony and I started getting in a heated argument over styles of music because we both have different taste. And we're not going to say how, but food was thrown at Solomon and Shelby. Shelby got so mad that she took a skewer and stabbed my burger. And Quentin was like, wait, that's a thing. And so he took all of our burgers and created burgers on a stick, and that's how Jenga Burger came to be.
So at Jenga Burger, our mission is to inspire all of our customers to try new things. I am the main leader. I'm basically the CEO of the company, but I also help Sam with some of the social media, but she does run most of it. She takes care of our Twitter page, Facebook, Instagram, and she also made our website. Quentin is the financial manager. He makes sure that we're paying all of our bills and everything. Solomon, he is our legal rights advisor, but he sadly could not be here with us today because he's away taking more law classes and furthering his education. Anthony here is our food preparation controller. He takes care of most of our food. He prepares it in the morning for our food truck.
So our menu is really simple, and we actually have only a few items, but that's kind of the goal is to make it really simple. And we have our burger on a stick, which is $4, and we have our original burger, which is $6. Our fries are $3, our frozen lemonades are $2.50, and our sodas are $2.
So when it came to pricing our menus on our items on our menu, we wanted to make the most profit possible but keep our prices low. So the original burger costs us $1.62 to make, which gives us a 73% profit margin. The burger on a stick costs us 82 cents to make, and we have an 80% profit margin on that. The fries cost us 16 cents to make per serving, and that gives us a 95% profit margin. The lemonade costs us 33 cents a glass to make. That gives us a 72% profit margin, and the sodas are just normal cans of soda, which gives us 66% profit margin on it when we buy a box, about 24. When starting our business, it was pretty expensive. We have a $78,000 startup cost. This included our truck loan and all of our equipment and our our fryers, our grills, fridges, stuff like that, as well as some of our permitting and insurance we need so we can run a legitimate business. We have a monthly operational cost of an average of $2,900 a month, or a yearly cost of $34,731 a year. That's you. Oh, that's not me. Okay, sorry. In the first year, we made $83,000, $480. We broke even at $47,172, and we have a monthly break-even point of $3,931.
So our owner's equity is $10,000 because 5 of us each brought in $2,000 from our own money. We also got a truck loan from Bank of America of $28,000 with a monthly payment of $504 and over a 5-year span with an interest rate of 3.04%.
Jenga Burger is a part of 2 industries. We're part of the food truck industry and the burger industry. We chose to analyze the burger industry instead of the food truck one. So here in California, In-N-Out is a really popular burger restaurant. Everyone knows about it here. They're pretty cheap. About the average pricing is $3, and their advertising method is word of mouth. Because I've never seen a In-N-Out burger commercial. Gourmet Barbecue is another popular burger place here. They're a little bit more gourmet, a little bit more expensive, about $10 a burger. Like I said, their advertising method is word of mouth, and they have a social media page. Jenga Burger, we're cheaper. We're kind of right in the middle between being In-N-Out cheap and gourmet. With our staple burger, the burger and steak is $4. Our main advertising method is word of mouth and our social platforms.
So here's some of our social platforms. I'll show off the Instagram. We have 69 followers and 3 posts, and this is what our burger on a stick actually looks like.
So for our sales strategies, we have 4 basic principles that we go off of. First is our strong concept, which is making sure that our brand and our name is really strong and sticks to the point in order to get or make our sales more strong. And 2, we have our unique offering. You haven't really heard of a burger on a stick, so that's the way we're making a twist on the concept of the burger industry. And 3, our partnerships with name brands and companies. We are actually planning on partnering with Dahl Fruit for our lemonade freezes because it's a recognizable brand to the community. And we're also planning on partnering with Fryology because they're focused on fries and we're focused on burgers, so we thought combining that would make a really good combination. And 4, what's really important for a food truck is attending popular and public events because those are the places that food trucks are common and those are where our target audiences would be.
Some of those popular events would be events over at Woodward Park. We like to go to the Fresno Fair. We do go to the high school food fairs, and then I know colleges have food truck days sometime too, so we try to make it over there. But our main location is usually over at Enzo's Table, which is over at Willow and Shepherd.
Our daily preparations is to prep the food at the commissary every morning. Then we'll move the food to the truck because we can't actually cut or anything in the truck. All we can do is grill. We'll clean up the commissary because we are renting one in Clovis. And then we'll drive to the selling locations such as Enzo's Kitchen, the fair, schools.
We have a weekly schedule of every week we got to fill our supply orders because we obviously want to have the freshest supplies. We try not, we try to, make sure we have everything ready so we don't have to, stop or wait or get, fall back on us making profit. When we set up, the weekly schedule where we're going to be that week so we can run as smoothly as possible.
So as for our company appearance, we have a business card which has all of our social media on it. We also have name tags with our logo, and then we also have these shirts that we're all wearing right now with the JB for Jenga Burger, and then on the back there's our logo.
The way we set up the truck, it's pretty simple. We have all the cooking and preparation in the back of the truck and the pay and the pickup table in the front. That way it's just easier to move around and we get the food as fast as possible to you guys.
Our target audience is teens and young adults because they're the most common age group to be able to purchase burgers. And we will find our target audience at public locations like schools, concerts, fairs, and other huge public events. And routinely, our target audience would purchase burgers around the hour slots of 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Anything before that or after that, it would be less common for someone to purchase a burger. And what our target audience wants is excitement and to try new things. So Jenga Burger definitely offers that with our unique offering of a burger on a stick.
So this is the way we want to bring our new burger.
So can we take your order? Thank you.
Woo! Hang on, don't walk away yet. Hang on. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Those who are in our class, I think request for some of you, if you can stay here to watch the last one. This showcase actually ends around 10, so they're concerned that they had some of these presentations. They're concerned that I'm going to have an audience, so I'm giving you permission to stay back and watch. I think it's the full.
Dude, it was like beeping the whole time. I was like, where is it?
Finance class, so if you're in my class, I'm giving them permission.
What's wrong with it?
Yeah, you probably need to get that. But I am giving you permission to stay.
Biomedicine. Students explore issues in medical science and human anatomy and physiology through their involvement in dissections, medical case studies, and research projects. Students investigate how a healthy body functions and how it reacts to disease. Students will collaborate with medical professionals at various hospitals and clinics in the Fresno-Clovis area as they research a variety of medical topics.
Biotechnology, an exploding science field that leads to high-paying jobs in medicine, biology, chemistry, agriculture, and environmental science. Students will apply DNA technology to genetically engineer bacteria, solve medical mysteries, clone tissues, diagnose genetic disease,
Mic check, can everybody hear me? Can you guys hear me over there by the door? Yes, okay, you can hear me back here, all right. Back here with the camera? I mean, yeah, all right, great, great, great. How's everybody doing? Good? Good, I like that, I like that, I like that. No, I'm just saying. I do. Oh, let me see.
No, not for sure. I'm too goofy for this. Like,
I was fine with people that were here already.
Somebody.
touching the mic like that.
No, I'm gonna look at you.
I know, so did I. I thought you said something else. I was like, whoa.
All of our classes. No, all of it.
It's 9:58. How are we saying our names? What order are we going in? Okay. Just say it in order like mine. Yeah. I knew it.
Oh, picture?
No. I look like a giant.
Wait, my smile be fake. Hold on.
Hold on.
Okay, she's right. Gotta be. Where's that? Oh, she good. Oh my God, Mr. Reed's here.
30 minutes. 10 minutes.
Damn.
I think it's 10. It's 9:59.
Girl, we gonna be good. Just breathe.
Jordan.
Girl, okay, she closed the door. She closed the door. Just chill, for real.
Jordan, it's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And y'all don't worry about not having an audience.
Okay, is everybody seated? Everybody seated? I'll wait on a few people. Okay. All right. Some more people coming up. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jordan.
I'm Leslie. I'm Kelly. I'm Lisbeth. And Chanel.
And we are from the Forensic Science and Research Lab. And today we will be teaching you about forensic analysis of blood spatter evidence in a simulated crime scene. So, introducing Project 2. When introducing Project 2, we first have to introduce Project 1. And in Project 1, we learned about numerous crime scene professions and what they do upon arriving at a scene and the college that they need to, do their crime, be their profession. Now, also in relation to Project 2, we got to choose 3 crime scene professions and we got to assess 3 crime scenes. Now, when I say crime scene professions, I mean CSI or coroners, anything you can think of in law enforcement. Now, first off, by starting Project 2, we read over numerous police reports, and in that we got a lot of things that stated a lot of different things that happened at different times, so we had to, of course, create a timeline right here. So in each highlighted section, they're a different color because that's a different crime scene. And also, when we arrived upon the crime scene, we had to write down factual evidence that we seen upon arriving at the scene. So things to know before you get to the 3 crime scene is that all the case numbers, even in law enforcement, they start when they start with the year that they happened. So all our crime scenes happened in the year of 2019, so all of them started with 19-. And also, in some way, all 3 of these crime scenes are related and are related to each of the different professions that we chose. So finally getting to the 3 crime scenes and how they're related. So the same red BMW that was reported stolen is the same red BMW that was involved in a hit and run that killed somebody, which is the same red BMW that was found in the potential homicide scene, which we'll be focusing on because that's where the blood spatter experts were needed. So in that crime scene, there was a woman who was found unconscious, and she was shot, and she bled out to death. And now you will learn what we did as blood spatter experts from my colleague.
So our class was divided up into smaller groups to analyze the 3 scenes that Jordan explained. And we got blood splatter, and so we had to research what blood splatter experts would look for. And so within our research, we found that there were 3 different types of blood splatter. There is passive blood splatter, blood that's only affected by gravity. There is transfer blood splatter, which is when a blood source comes into contact with a clean surface and the blood is transferred onto that surface. And there's projected blood splatter, where blood is launched through the air at a velocity. So more into projected blood splatter, there is 3 different velocity types. There is low velocity blood splatter, which is the same as passive blood splatter. So that means, once again, blood that's only affected by gravity. That includes flows, drips, drops, and pools. An example of low velocity blood splatter would be a nosebleed. There is medium velocity blood splatter, which is usually smaller than low velocity blood splatter, but an example of medium velocity blood splatter is a beating with a bat or a blunt object. And there is high velocity blood splatter, which is usually a fine mist. And a weapon that usually creates enough power to launch blood at such a velocity is a gun. So that is the rundown of blood splatter. Here is Leslie with our collection process.
Okay, so after we researched about our profession, we created a procedure for ourselves, for the collection process, so we can ensure what we did at the crime was correct. And when we got to the scene, the role we played was crime scene technicians to collect the evidence. The type of evidence we collected was photographs and measurements. We don't collect physical evidence. Someone who would collect physical evidence would be like the blood group that checks like the DNA and goes more into depth into the blood, but we just focus on the pattern to see what story they tell us.
All right, so this is the chain of custody. This is a chronological documentation that is used to document what evidence was took from the scene, what time, and who has took it. So how we simulated this is we took photos from the crime scene, and then we printed them out, and we wrote like what kind of blood it was, what kind of blood spatter, and what kind of velocity. We then placed it in these envelopes right here, and then sealed it off with evidence tape, and then checked it into the property room, which is located in our forensic lab. This is the technique that actual PD, like police departments, will use to collect their evidence from the crime scene. So we imitated the blood spatter experts when we did our analysis. So we first started off by creating fake blood. We then proceeded to go outside and do multiple trials. We did heights from like 50 centimeters, 100 centimeters, 200 centimeters, and then we did angles of impact as well, where we sit the clipboard up against the surface with the protractor, and then we would drop it from same height but just different angles. So the results from that, we found out that there was low velocity located on the door jamb of the passenger side, as well as high velocity located on the dashboard and the windshield of the passenger side. There were 2 transfer patterns that were located on the door of the passenger side, as well as the front hood of the vehicle, and a pool of blood located on the driver's seat. Due to these results, we were able to indicate that our victim was shot from behind. This is where the high velocity sprayed onto the windshield and the dashboard of the car. Where the low velocity is located, this is where she was dripping from her wound. And then the transfer patterns on the passenger's door and the front of the hood indicate that she was struggling. The footprints on there were not actually her footprints, but a different suspect, so that kind of, yeah. And then when it goes around to the driver's seat, that's where she bled out.
So we use a lot of different tools in this project. For the collection process, we used the camera, ruler, and number stand. The camera was used to take pictures of the various blood spatters in the crime scene. And there were 3 types of pictures that we took. It was overview, approach, and close-up. The overview is a picture of the entire crime scene taken at different angles. And the approach is a picture of a piece of evidence, and it shows where that piece of evidence is located at in the crime scene. And the close-up is a close-up picture taken at a 90-degree angle, and it has to be close enough so you can see the minute details of that piece of evidence. And that is taken with and without the number stand. And the number stand is just a way to identify that piece of evidence so that you can later refer to it and distinguish it. And the number stand comes with the scale, and the scale is just a way to know the exact measurements of that piece of evidence. And then we use the ruler to take further measurements of the blood spatters in the crime scene. For the analysis process, we used corn syrup, cornstarch, water, and food coloring to create the fake blood that Chanel mentioned earlier. We mixed those ingredients and waited about 30 minutes for the mixture to get thick. And once it did, we continued with the process where we dropped the fake blood onto the index cards, and we used a dropper for that. And then we used the meter stick to know the exact measurements where we dropped the blood spatter. The blood drop, and then we used a ruler as well here to measure the blood spatters that we recreated once it dried, and then we used the index cards, tape, and clipboard to create the flat surfaces. We wrote 2 reports and 2 procedures. The 2 procedures were written at the beginning of the project. There was one for collection and one for analysis. These were written individually, and once we came together as a group, we chose the portions we thought best from each of the procedures to create one group procedure, and that's the one that we followed for both collection and analysis. And then we wrote 2 reports towards the end of the project, and those were written also individually, but they were written in first person, and they focused only on what the individual did and not so much as the other group members. And these reports are also very similar to police reports in real life, and it was a great way to keep track of what the person did and maintain credibility. Once we finished with the collection and analysis, we began to prepare for trial, where we would testify as blood spatter experts. And we watched a video of what an expert shouldn't do while they testify in court. And we also learned the ways to feel confident and comfortable while testifying, and the correct way to testify in court. And we took videos throughout the video in class, and then we learned about voir dire. And voir dire is a series of questions that is asked to the person to test whether or not they can whether or not they qualify as an expert. And whether they do or do not, it shows whether their testimony is reliable or not.
So once all 3 scenes were analyzed, we all came together for a trial. And so when we took the stand, we were, of course, like what Elizabeth said, we were voir dired, where we had to prove we were credible to take the stand as a blood spatter expert and a crime scene technician. So all of our testimonies, our evidence, did connect it together in the trial, and so blood splatter and ballistics proved that our victim was shot in the passenger seat, and blood splatter and shoe prints proved that our victim was dragged to the driver's seat. At the end of the trial, the defendant was guilty of a stolen car, manslaughter, and a hit and run.
So all in all, the end goal of Project 2 was to basically utilize what we learned about crime scene prevention in Project 1 and put it into action and do a trial and give our results. Now, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for coming here and listening to us, but I want to know if you guys have any questions. Don't be afraid, just ask away. No questions? Thank you.
Explore drug development and testing. Students will wrestle with difficult ethical issues that arise as a result of using biotechnology to solve problems.
Business and finance. Learn to manage and invest money. Learn to be your own boss in a business you create. Students study human behaviors of producing, distributing, and consuming materials, goods, and services in a world of limited resources. They learn how the financial services industry works as they strengthen the analytical, technical, and communication skills needed to succeed in any economy.
Cybersecurity. Students learn to design, build, secure, and analyze computers and the networks that connect them. Through hands-on projects, they investigate the Internet of Things and how it is changing the way we support current technology. This lab prepares students for the CompTIA A+ certification exam. And qualified students may earn college credit through a dual enrollment program with Fresno City College.
Engineering, manufacturing, and robotics. Creativity, knowledge, and skill are used to develop solutions to real-world mechanical engineering problems. Working as individuals and in small teams, students design, test, and evaluate working prototypes of their solutions. Students will learn how to bring engineering designs into the physical world using a variety of engineering tools, skills, and practices, including cutting-edge CAD and CAM software. CNC machines, 3D printers, and laser cutters are just a few of the technologies that will be used to manufacture student-engineered designs. Students will be introduced to basic electronics, microcontrollers, and computer programming while learning to design, build, and program robotic and automation devices.
Environmental science and field research. Students take part in several field trips in order to experience the San Joaquin Valley, San Joaquin River, Pacific Coast, and Sierra Nevada mountains.